Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 346 of our Be a Better You annual challenge. And today we're talking about step 2 of the SOAP framework, which stands for options. So we are going to use a tool to brainstorm options today to help us come up with ways to fill the gap between the two stories we told ourselves and wrote down in a paragraph yesterday about the current situation, what is right now in the situation that we selected, and I'll talk about mine in a sec, and where do we want to be? Why? Because there's this difference, and we've identified that gap or difference now. And as soon as we identify that, we start looking for solutions. We start seeing solutions that have been out there all along, by the way, and we start filling the gaps. So it's our SOAP framework, step 2, options. And we want to keep in mind that there are infinite possibilities whenever we think that there's only one or two ways to do something. We need to check ourselves and say, okay, wait a minute, that is so not true. There are so many possible ways I can get from A to B. There's so many ways I can get from my current to desired. I usually say C to D because current and desired helps me remember. So today I'm going to share my favorite brainstorming tool, which I call the 10-3-1 tool. And what we do is we make ourselves come up with at least 10 possible ways to start to fill that gap or to fill that gap all the way. It's incredible. When I challenge myself to come up with at least 10 possibilities, when I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to have to work on this for months, all of a sudden, what will happen is the one thing I actually need to do that's going to really move that needle as far as possible, as quickly as possible, pops into my head, and I realize, oh my gosh, this is way simpler than I thought it was going to be. So I am working on, as part of a 6-month challenge, a new source of income that's at least 10K a month. And so by June 1st, I think is probably the cutoff. So what do I need to do? I looked at where am I at right now? Just started, haven't monetized or done anything with it. So my number's 0, the big 0. And what do I want it to be? 10 or above, right? And I always say 10 or above because I don't want to stop at 10 and block myself off or start shutting down or not continuing to create at a higher and higher and higher level. So I will brainstorm today what are 10 ways I can start to fill that gap. Number 1, I need to monetize my school community, right? That's my number 1 thing. And so how am I going to go about doing that? And, you know, I know I'm overthinking it, but I will brainstorm a list today, and I bet on that list will be the one thing I just need to do and put it out there, and we'll see what happens. I know what'll happen. It's going to work. All right. So 10-3-1. And the reason I call it 10-3-1 is because tomorrow, and at the end of today, I would say look at the list and circle the 3 that are most appealing to you. Because tomorrow, we're going to look more deeply at those options, and we're going to select the one to take action on. All right. What else is going on today? I pulled my card, which I'm remembering to share today, and I grabbed my book. And today's card says, a belief is only a thought I keep thinking. If you wonder where your beliefs come from, and I haven't questioned my beliefs my whole life, right? I wish I had. I wish I had figured this out in like my early 20s, that the things I'm choosing to believe and think are real and reality are all made up. We all make up our own reality by the beliefs and things that we choose to continue to hold on to. And some of those things, all of those things are designed to keep us safe. Even the ones that are outrageous, ridiculous, and we realize that we have them and we just shake our head. We're like, how on earth have I hung on to that belief since I was 6 years old? Okay, I see where it came from. Who does that even belong to? Probably my mom or my dad or my grandma or my grandpa, one of them, or somebody else that was an influential adult in my life. And I'm like, well, if it's worked for them and I look up to them and they're my hero, then it must be true for me too. Not so much. So a belief is a thought that we think a lot. And that's why so many of our most deeply rooted, held on to tightly beliefs are so hard to change. And if we eliminate one, we talked about this a couple of days ago, and we don't fill it with something positive that we want to believe, another one will rear its ugly head. And even when we do fill it with positive and the thing we want to believe, there's always a way for our very creative subconscious mind in the universe to feed us up another example of that if we haven't let it go once and for all, because there is no once and for all, right? I always used to beat myself up when I'd be triggered by something because I'm like, I thought I took care of this. I thought I eliminated this using all these different strategies and tools and techniques in my toolbox. Yet we're all human beings, so things are going to continue to come up. I think they come up to see if I'm serious and if I really mean what I'm doing in the direction I'm going, and and to keep me consistent and hold myself accountable and ask myself, well, and just to challenge me to say, okay, yeah, I understand why I adopted that philosophy when I did. It's always to keep us safe, right? It's always to keep us in our comfort zone and feeling okay and safe. It's so we don't get hurt over and over and over again. So a belief is only a thought. I think a lot. So today I'm going to challenge myself to look at the biggest belief that comes up and say, okay, is that serving me or not serving me? Because I will tell you right now, if all of my beliefs were serving me the way I wanted them to, I would be in a very different position in many different areas and aspects of my life than I am right now. And so that tells me that my thoughts are giving me the results that I have right now, my past thoughts, and actually the ones I'm still thinking today. And as soon as I can change what I'm focusing on, what I'm giving my attention to, what I'm looking for, everything changes, and it can change really, really fast. This Louise Hay power thought affirmations are: I'm in total harmony with my environment, the sun, the moon, the wind, the rain, and the earth. That's about harmony and alignment, and I think going with the flow of things that are outside of our control, right? And I contend that nature has perfect harmony, perfect energy, perfect everything. If you zoom in and look at one thing here or one thing there, you could argue, oh no, that's not true. It's not in harmony because this is going on and it bothers me. But overarching overall, the way the world and the universe work is everything is in harmony and opposites, right? Polar universe we live in. And the other one is I dress beautifully every day because doing so lifts my spirits. Now this is funny. I like this one, but it's so not true. I put on whatever I feel like putting on in the morning to make these videos. And usually it's color based and I'm selecting it for a color or for a reason. A lot of times it's just a random selection. So I think this is an area that I might want to consider as I'm moving forward. But for the most part, one of my core beliefs is I get to be who I am. And that means I've got a lot of variety in my life. All right. So any questions? Our action item today is to brainstorm a list of at least 10. Grab your Post-it notes, grab your little notebook, carry it around with you. And if something pops into your head as you go about your day, just jot it down so you won't forget it and don't lose it. Maybe just I have to do that, but I have to do that all the time. If I can help you in any way, you know what to do. Just ask. And I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.